Dear students, we will discuss about the rectus abdominis and pyramidalis muscles. These are the muscles which are placed in the rectus sheath. That's why they are called the muscles of rectus sheath. And this rectus sheath is formed by the three muscles in the anterior abdominal wall. So those three muscles which are flat, and they are called the flat muscles of the anterior abdominal wall, and they are the external oblique aponeurosis, the internal oblique aponeurosis, and the transversus abdominis muscles that will contribute for the rectus sheath formation. Now let us see where from the word rectus is derived and what does it mean. The word rectus is derived from the Latin phrase musculus rectus, which means a straight muscle. Rectus means straight, musculus means muscle. So the word is derived from the Latin, and the muscle is straight in its orientation. That's why it is called the rectus muscles. And let us have a look at the straight muscles in the body. The one which we are going to discuss, that is the rectus abdominis in the anterior abdominal wall on either side of the midline. Then there is rectus femoris, which you will come across in the front of thigh. So there are what are known as a quadriceps muscle in the front of thigh, and which consists of four heads. What are those four heads? One is the vastus medialis, then the other vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, and the rectus femoris. So there is a straight muscle on the front of thigh, that is the rectus femoris. Then the rectus sternalis, in relation with the sternum, you will see the rectus sternalis muscle. Then there are four recti muscles in relation with the eye. They are called the extraocular muscles of eyeball, and they are the superior and inferior rectus, medial rectus, and lateral rectus. Then there are certain straight muscles in the neck. So they are the sternohyoid, sternothyroid, thyrohyoid, and omohyoid. So now you know what is meant by the term rectus or rectus abdominis. You know what is rectus femoris, what is rectus sternalis, what are the recti muscles in relation with the eyeball, and what are all the straight muscles in relation with the neck. Now we will be talking about the rectus abdominis muscle in this session. Now let us talk about the rectus abdominis muscle, and here you will be seeing the picture. The two muscles on either side of the midline, they are the rectus abdominis muscles, and we are seeing the linea alba, which is formed by the interlacing fibers of the aponeurosis of external oblique abdominis, internal oblique abdominis, and transversus abdominis. So this is the linea alba in the midline, and you are seeing the rectus abdominis muscle on either side of it. And from its name, it is a vertical muscle, and you can see it. It's a vertical muscle in the anterior abdominal wall next to midline on either side of the linea alba. So the two muscles are separated by linea alba. And origin of the muscle will be at its lower end and its insertion will be at the upper end. That is the point which you have to note. The origin is from the lower end and insertion is at the upper end. Now let us look at the origin and insertion of the muscle. So you are seeing the muscle, the rectus abdominis on one side and the pyramidalis muscle of opposite side you are seeing here. Now let us concentrate on the rectus abdominis muscle. It's a straight muscle and it takes origin from the pubic crest and pubic symphysis. So its origin is at the lower end and it is from the pubic crest and pubic symphysis, and from this origin you can see it going up towards the insertion onto the xiphoid process and the 5th, 6th, 7th costal cartilages. So the insertion is into the xiphoid process and onto the 5th, 6th and 7th costal cartilages in a transverse line. So you have to note here the upper end of the muscle is the insertion, and you are seeing white lines on the anterior aspect of the muscle. These are called the tendinous intersections. So the importance of which we will come across shortly. Now let us look at the picture. So you are seeing the anterolateral abdominal wall muscles and the rectus abdominis muscle and the linea alba in the midline. So this is the superficial layer of anterior abdominal wall muscle, that is the external obliquus abdominis and its aponeurotic part. And deep to this you will see the intermediate layer, the internal obliquus abdominis muscle. And deep to the internal oblique muscle is the transversus abdominis muscle. The aponeurotic layers of these three flat muscles, they contribute for the formation of the rectus sheath, which encloses the rectus abdominis and pyramidalis muscles. This is the linea alba you are seeing, and you are seeing the obliquely running nerves. So these are the anterior rami of the lower 6 intercostal nerves that are supplying the rectus abdominis muscle. So the rectus abdominis muscle is supplied by the anterior rami of lower 6 intercostal nerves. After learning about the origin, insertion, nerve supply of the rectus abdominis muscle, let us know about its action. So this is the rectus abdominis muscle, and what are its actions? It produces forward flexion of the vertebral column. So this is the forward flexion of the vertebral column is produced by the rectus abdominis muscle, and it will be drawing the chest downwards, and it also elevates the pelvis. So it tries to bring the sternum and symphysis pubis together, nearer to one another, close to one another. So ventral or forward flexion of vertebral column, drawing the chest downwards, elevating the pelvis upwards. That is the function of it. In addition, it assists the anterolateral muscles of the abdomen. So what are they? They are the three flat muscles which we have mentioned. So it facilitates them in supporting the abdominal viscera and in increasing the intra-abdominal pressure. And you must have heard six-pack muscle. So this is the six-pack muscle which when contracts it shows the bulgings. That's why it is called the six-pack muscle. So now we have learned about the action of the rectus abdominis, which produces forward flexion of vertebral column and draws the chest downwards, elevates the pelvis and assists the anterolateral muscles of the abdominal wall in supporting the abdominal viscera and in increasing the intra-abdominal pressure. Now, let us discuss about the lines which you have seen on the anterior surface of the muscle. So, they are called the tendinous intersections. So, these are nothing but the fibrous bands. These fibrous bands can be complete or incomplete, and they are seen only on the anterior surface of the rectus abdominis muscle. They are not seen on the posterior surface, and they indicate segmental origin of the muscle. So the tendinous intersections are fibrous bands that are seen on the anterior surface of the rectus abdominis muscle, and they indicate segmental origin of the muscle, and they are 4 in number. You are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. So where are they located? 1, we are seeing it located near the xiphoid process. This is the xiphoid process and it is located here. Then the second one is at the umbilicus you are seeing. And then there is one in between the xiphoid process and umbilicus. You are seeing the third one. And then you are seeing one below the umbilicus. Sometimes you may not see this one below the umbilicus. So now you know what are the tendinous intersections and how many are there and where they are placed and on which surface of the rectus abdominis muscle. Here you are seeing the two rectus abdominis muscles with the tendinous intersections. What is the embryological basis for these tendinous intersections? They are regarded as representing the development of septal origin of the muscle, that is the segments of myotomes that are joining with one another and forming the rectus abdominis muscle. So they are regarded by some to represent embryonic septa between different myotomes, but this is uncertain. And what is the advantage of having these tendinous intersections? So because of the presence of these tendinous intersections, the number of muscle fibers are also more and the power of contraction is also more. So the presence of tendinous intersections increases the number of muscle fibers present and increases the power of muscle. So there is the embryological basis and advantage of the tendinous intersections. Now we will see what is linea semilunaris. You are seeing the two rectus abdominis muscles, and you know that this is the linea alba, and you are seeing a white line here. Okay, the tendinous line you are seeing here, and this is the linea semilunaris. So in Latin it means half moon or crescent shape. So linea semilunaris you are seeing as a tendinous intersection along the lateral border of rectus abdominis muscle, and because it is a half moon or crescent shaped, it is called linea semilunaris, and it is also known as Spegerian line. So this is the linea semilunaris or Spegerian line, a curved tendinous intersection along the lateral border of rectus abdominis muscle, and this is the place where the three flat muscles of the anterolateral abdominal wall, they will be contributing for the formation of the rectus sheath. So the boundary line between the flat muscles and the rectus abdominis is the linea semilunaris. Now in this dissection we can see the linea alba, the rectus abdominis muscle, its lateral margin, where you can see the linea semilunaris, which is the site of union of rectus sheath with the fascia of anterior abdominal wall muscles. What is the clinical importance of this linea semilunaris? It is in relation with a hernia called the Spegerian hernia, which is a rare hernia. So the hernia in relation with the linea semilunaris is called the Spegerian hernia, and all of you know hernia is the protrusion of abdominal contents. So this is not a normal one, it is abnormal protrusion of the abdominal contents. And here you are seeing in the picture the herniated gut loop along the linea semilunaris. So next Spegerian hernia. So the boundaries for this hernia is medially is the rectus abdominis muscle, and laterally is you are seeing the oblique muscles. The internal oblique you could identify the transversus abdominis muscle. You can see this is the external oblique muscle. So external oblique, internal oblique, and transversus abdominis muscles, they are seen laterally. So this is the herniated gut loop, and this is the linea semilunaris, which forms the upper boundary for the Spegerian hernia. So now you know what is linea semilunaris and what is its clinical importance. After knowing about the rectus abdominis muscle, let us see what is pyramidalis muscle. This is the rectus abdominis muscle with its tendinous intersections you are seeing, and then you are seeing the pyramidalis muscle. It's a small muscle placed in front of the rectus abdominis muscle within its sheath. So, and it is triangular in shape. It's a triangular muscle placed in front of rectus abdominis muscle within the rectus sheath, that is the pyramidalis. Now let us see the origin, insertion, nerve supply, and action of the pyramidalis muscle. So the pyramidalis is a triangular muscle So we have a base, so that is the origin, which is attached to the front of the pubis and the pubic symphysis. This is the origin, and the apex of which is the insertion, it is inserted into the linea alba. So the origin is from the pubis and pubic symphysis, and the insertion is into the linea alba. And its nerve supply is by the subcostal nerve, which is the 12th cranial nerve that supplies the pyramidalis muscle. The action of this muscle is it's getting inserted into the linea alba, so it is a tensor of the linea alba. So now you know about what is pyramidalis muscle, where is it located, and what is its origin, insertion, nerve supply, and action. After learning about the muscles, the rectus abdominis and pyramidalis, you have to answer the following questions. That is, they describe the origin, insertion, nerve supply, and action of rectus abdominis muscle. Describe the origin, insertion, nerve supply, and action of pyramidalis muscle. The third question is, what is linea semilunaris? Mention its clinical importance. You write your answers on a white paper with relevant diagrams and submit as assignment.